I actually got one question already for the panel. I was asking people I know. And do we have time for going to that one, or should we leave it for the next week?
Yeah, I think
we
do.
got at least 15.
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't see the clock, so I don't know what's the time. But anyway, I trust you that you are the timekeepers. So the question is like about mental health problems and physical pain. How do you see the connection between
Completely
the
connected. Completely connected.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Usually the physical is a manifestation of the emotional and of the mental. So there's a neural pathway that connects from the brain, the mind, to the body. So once that's built, then the body, you're experiencing something that brings up a memory, or you have a thought that is going to fire that neural pathway in the body over and over and over again. So, you know, as a habit. So that's when these physical ailments start, and or even chronic issues can start.
Oh yeah.
Amos, you want to say something else about the subject?
No, I'm on the support of that. That's how I explain it to my clients, is that you are sort of building circuits in your life, and repetitive motion, repetitive sequences will create repetitive circuits. It's like like quartz in the watch. There's a circuit, but there's a little fleck of quartz, and that's the memory, that's the initial firer. And once you interrupt that circuit, it stops. So I'm always trying to interrupt the circuit in the least impactful way. And it's neuroplasticity.
Right.
Yeah.
You think, therefore you are. You've been thinking about the same thing for so long. Let's change the way you think about it. I can't take that thing out. I can't just change it. But let's change the way you think about it. Let's change the way you look at it, or let's change the way that you think you can handle it. Thinking is our main tool here, so let's just change it a little bit.
Yeah. And that neuroplasticity allows for that change. That's what allows for the change, and to build a new neural pathway. Where even, was it like 20 years ago, they didn't know about neuroplasticity. So that old dogs, it was hard to teach old dogs new tricks. You know, once you were past 45, you couldn't change, you know, as a person. So that's all gone now. You know, the new science has shown that we can change anything at any time, just with your thoughts.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah, you just have to become very aware of your thoughts. And I always tell my clients that the old way that you have been thinking, it is the fastest road in your brain. It is the like the fastest route that your car can speed up, like 200 kilometers an hour. And when you start building something new, when you start to kind of have the positive route of thinking about that doesn't cause you this physical sensation of nausea or what is it, like vertigo or stuff. When you start building that positive way of thinking, it will take time, because you have to actually create it in your brain. You have to practice it, and you have to repeat it over and over and over and over and over again. And slowly but surely that route in your brain, your car will start to take that route, and the old fast route will start to perish. And that is the way the neuroplasticity. Yeah. So sorry, I'm a Finnish person. My English is sometimes very shit, but I try my best. So the neuroplasticity, that's how it works. Like it doesn't work that you realize something and it changes. It takes actually practice.
Yeah. The best analogy for people, like especially here in the US, we all love HGTV. We love the flipping house shows and all that jazz. But I tell people, like, I want you to think of the actual work the contractors do. They have to come into your home. they have to start knocking down walls, which starts to get dust and junk everywhere. Then that has to be cleaned up. Then they have to bring in the contractors for the walls. Like, this is a remodeling process. And anyone who's ever had any work done on their home for any large amount of time, this does not happen overnight, because if it did happen overnight, you are paying loads of money. Like, you are paying loads of money, because the contractors always take longer than they project, always. And it's always going to take more work than they initially say. That's just the way it is. But this is literal neurological remodeling.
Yeah.
And then it takes time.
It's up to the person. And we can't say how long it's going to take because it's really up to the person.
And it's also up to the brain, like how flexible is your brain. Like, for example, just 3 weeks ago, I had a client that had like a long time trauma of her child being young and crying all the time when the child was a baby, and she was still waking up every night and kind of worried about it. And after one session, she started to sleep completely normally, and this trauma energy was gone. So it might happen sometimes like this,
exactly,
but it's very unlikely. It's usually like, don't expect that it happens at the first time.
And I often think that age has a lot to do with it, because the more experiences you have, the more neural pathways you build, and the deeper, the stronger those neural pathways are. So I know they say that that doesn't have anything to do with it, but I don't know. I wonder. I think it's an interesting topic to dive into.